Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Russ here from Poker's Corner. Biggest club in sport. Right. Joe Joyce, the big juggernaut, big stiff. What do I think to his fight with Zhang? Well, this is how I look at it. Joe's had 16 fights, hasn't he now? Olympic silver medalist. Been beat, hasn't he? Been stopped because he couldn't get his head out of the way because the southpaw just kept jabbing him on his eye. Now, if you keep getting it on that eye, you think to yourself, you know what, I'm going to move my head a little bit here. I'm going to put something up here to block it, or I'm going to switch stances. Not that he can, but if he could have done, he could have switched styles, couldn't he, to protect his bad eye. But he didn't have that in his locker, did he? Like, you know, like Tyson Fury would have, or, you know, your Mayweathers, people like that. He didn't have that. So he just had to keep plodding forward like a juggernaut, thinking, do you know what? I'm going to wear him out. I'm a juggernaut. Well, sometimes in boxing, you come up against these problems. And I'm going to shut this window in. Yeah, I'm just going to shut window here. I know you're trying to cut me a deal with that beaver over there, Q. Yeah. Keep talking about that car, don't you, in front of my window. They park it under my window, the car I like. Parks it under my window. Find up merchants. So getting back to Big Joe Joyce, big stiff. Can't get out of the way. Skills pay the bills. I've said to people before, and I'll say it again. If you're a fighter pilot, you come in, don't you? Machine guns, and you get out, don't you? Well, that's what Zhang did to Joe Joyce. He came in, pop, pop, bang, and got out. And he couldn't handle it because he's not being in with anybody like that. A southpaw, as big as him, as tall as him, an Olympic silver medalist from 08. I know Joe's from 2016, and there's 8-year difference, but Zhang's 41 next birthday, isn't he? Joe Joyce was 38 in September. He fights does the end of August, so basically he's a 38-year-old man. Did he stay in amateurs too long? Yes, yes. Because he's running out of years now. We need to make the ground up. So yes, he did stay in amateurs too long, Joe Joyce. Did it's Big Freeze stay in amateurs too long? Oh yeah, he's 32. Big Freeze. Well, if Big Freeze don't get a move on, he'll have melted. But getting back to Joe Joyce, do I rate him? Well, we all got carried away, didn't we? His bone density. What's all that about? We've got that little goonie, Sam Jones, running around. Little goonie that you are, you little goonie. Go in, Sam Jones, you little goonie. If you didn't hear that already. Why are you running around still going on about Joe Joyce's bone density? What the has bone density got to do with anything? Hey? What's that got to do with you? Next, you'll be sounding like Bean when you were going on about that. Who is it? Who showed you a drawing, Bean, of some tattoo or some spider's web he were going to have on his elbow? What's that got to do with price of fish? Hey? What's that got to do with price of fish, Bean? About Joe Joyce with his bone density. Who gives a hoot about his bone density? You know, at somebody's house last year and they were going on about it. They'll have been in house 2 minutes. And somebody piped up about boxing, and then somebody piped up about Joe Joyce and then bone density. And I thought, you know what? I ain't even got through the door for a beer yet. We've not even got in the taxi. And people are already trying to go on about Joe Joyce's bone density to me. It were a gimmick. Just something that people put out in boxing all the time, just a load of rubbish. Bone density, do me a favour. If his bone density is that hard, what's Zhang's? It must be cock at school or cock at world. Jesus. Can we get Zhang's bone density tested? Sam Jones, if you're going to get on in the sport of boxing and hold your conversation with other people in boxing, you know, like your managers, promoters, and people like that, you start coming out with bone density rubbish in people's company, especially my company, if I were out, Sam Jones. And then you walk off, people will be like, what were you going on about then? If I say, here, come back here, you. We don't understand all that up here. Bone density. I hadn't seen that one on box rec. Pop, pop, bang. So now, Joe Joyce ain't going to win a world title. He don't move his head. Big stiff. Let's have it right. He's a big stiff. Going in against a guy, does he need credit for taking this fight? Well, he's 38 in September. If he doesn't fight Zhang on the 26th of August, what is he going to do? Are they going to put him in with a Dave Allen or a Mark Bennett? You know, a journeyman type fight? Are we going to bring him back in one of them? The geezer's an Olympic silver medalist. They were screaming that it should have been gold. So, no, I'm not going to give him any credit for fighting Zhang. He should be fighting guys like that. You know, 2 Olympians, silver medal Olympians going at it. 08 silver medal and 16 silver medal. One's 40, one's more or less 38, one's pushing 41. So what? He should be fighting guys like that. I don't want to see him in with a waste man. They've saved up waste man for that Ben Whittaker, haven't they? He's popular, I must admit. Toying with the idea. Richard got in touch with me. You know, my pal Richard, who comes on channel with Big Stoogie. He mentioned it to me a few times, and Julian, we're looking at doing, well, I'm looking at doing it, me. Because if we have to put an invoice in round here, we need a meeting to know when there's a meeting. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure out how to work it. When I get in tonight, I'm going to stick it on so we can do Zooms, a group of us. Good idea, I think. Got to mix it up a bit, haven't we? I mean, I can't keep carrying it all on my own, can I? My trusty Lieutenant Kent. But no, getting back to Joe Joyce, I wish Joe Joyce all the best, but I think he's a big stiff and he ain't going to do now. I think he's overachieved. British Commonwealth European champion, and he's got an Olympic silver. Henry Cooper didn't have an Olympic silver, but he had the British Commonwealth and European, didn't he? But he didn't have an Olympic silver. And they knighted Henry Cooper. So there's hope for Joe Joyce yet, but I think Joe Joyce is too robotic, too upright, and too kind of like stiff. You say that word? It's like an insult, isn't it? I don't want it to be like that, but I think he's too upright. He's not flexible enough to go all the way. He's not moving his head for starters. Nobody's saying he ain't fit and can't throw punches all night long. But if you've got somebody with a bit of movement, look, you've just seen what happened, haven't you? If we go back to a few years ago when Tyson were carrying all that weight, I seen him spar Joe Joyce and Daniel DeBar. Right, and he was Matt Tyson Fury at one massive, the biggest he'd ever been, and he got in that ring in front of his dad, his brother, and everybody else that were there. He just stood in the middle of that ring. Now he wasn't on his toes. He was just doing all that slipping and sliding and moving and that. And I'd say he was probably 27 stone. What is he now? 20, 7 stone heavier than he is now, out of shape. And Joe Joyce and DeBar couldn't lay a glove on him then. So they certainly won't be able to lay one on him now, would they? 7, 8 stone lighter. So that's where Joe Joyce is as regards his position in the heavyweight rankings. That's it. British Commonwealth European champion. I don't think he's got a world championship in him. And I'll tell you another thing as well. If Joe Joyce had been fighting Hughie Fury that night, because Hughie's a better mover than Zhang, and he'd be peppering you all night. All Zhang did was pepper him. It wasn't even massive movement. It was just peppering and moving from side to side. He just stayed online all the time. Every time he hit him, he just hit him and went like that, didn't he? Moved his head. It was pretty basic stuff what he did, Joe Joyce with. So could you imagine what somebody with some movement would do to him? What would Jared Anderson do to him? What would Hughie Fury do to him with his movement alone? Hughie's not been on the floor, has he? Bro. What would they have done to Joe Joyce? Joe Joyce is not 30 no more, is he? Not 31 no more. 38 in September. 38. Think about it. When Muhammad Ali fought Larry Holmes, he was 38. He had a lot more miles on the clock, though, to be fair to Ali. But Joe's been active, hasn't he, since he was a teenager, hasn't he? Still 38, isn't it? Still getting old, still training every day, aren't you? So we're going to see, but I see Zhang beating him. Again, he's stopping him on point. Stopping him late on. A lot of people are saying the points win, aren't they? But I'm seeing Zhang beats him. I don't see what he can learn in that period of time. And I then see probably DeBar and Joyce having a rematch. Frank trying to get some mileage out of that and trying to get back up WBO rankings. I see that happening as well. But who's to say that Joyce is going to get beat by Zhang? Well, I'm saying he gets beat with him again. He didn't win a round first time. He weren't even at the races. He was found out by somebody that was basically a southpaw. That's it. That's why there's only a few southpaws in the world. It's a very small minority. That's what they do to you. The way to fight a southpaw is to not let him get into a rhythm. You're supposed to jump on them. All you young kids out there listening to your trainers, if they're telling you do this, do that, be technical here, get your foot here, there, and everywhere. They're talking hogwash. Hogwash. You know how you deal with a southpaw? You let your hands go and you jump on them. You don't let them get into a rhythm. Because once they get into a rhythm, you can't get them out it because everything's alien to you. It's all other way, isn't it? What do I know? I'm only going on what I've read in books. So, good luck to Joe Joyce, but Zhang does him for me, and my bet will be a Zhang stoppage. All right, in my accumulator bet. I've been doing crap at him lately. I keep getting 8 out of 9s and 7 out of 8. There's always one that lets you down, isn't there? Because you're trying to make the bet a bit exciting, aren't you? But we have had a few wins over the years. Good ones. But do we want to get in that car off them next door? Could I? We'll see. We'll see, Ash. We'll see. And the problem is, buying a car, isn't it? 3 year older than one you've got. It's like going backwards, isn't it? You know what they're doing, putting it under the door. Sods. Okie dokie. Peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep sporting boxing. And I'll keep saying I'm going to come and see you, Frank, at Bury. I don't have time at all at the moment, but you can come and see me if you want. I'll take you for lunch. How's about that, pal? Peace out.